This is a message for all of my creators out there. You might be feeling a bit of a lag right now between when you share something that you've created and when it connects with its intended audience. The process that you move through during that time, during that perceived lag, this is actually a part of your long-term creative protection. Because during that time, you are processing and releasing limiting beliefs as they come up to the surface. And the more that you allow this process, the closer and closer you get to the root of the truth of who you are. And then the more that truth integrates in your own body, and the more that truth comes through in what you create, and the more that creation will resonate. And this process takes time. Take the time that it takes rather than trying to force yourself to put things out there just to put things out there. And here's the thing, this same process is actually happening for the audience that is really meant to receive your work. They are also processing and releasing and moving closer to the root of the truth. They're preparing to receive you as you are receiving more and more of yourself. Now, you might see people who are releasing their creative work on a regular, seemingly constant schedule, and you might believe that this is how you ought to be creating and releasing too. But not everyone is here to create and release in that way. One of my favorite artists is Sade, and the message that I received from Spirit is that you can trust yourself to be the Sade of the work that you do when it comes to your willingness to allow your creative process to take the time that it takes. Your willingness to be silent when you don't have something to say. Your willingness to only share when what you're sharing is moving through you from a frequency of authenticity. Trust that this process of yours, the way that you create, your attunement, your receptivity, your liberated imagination, your connection to ancestral and cosmic and eco wisdom, trust that all of that is real. Let yourself be curious about how all of this moves through your own system. And notice when and how what moves through your system wants to come through you in creative work that you share with people, and then just share it however you want to, in the way that feels most pleasurable and aligned for you, and trust that. And trusting that doesn't look like forcing yourself to be overexposed. It doesn't look like forcing yourself to always have something to share because of the fear that if you stop sharing, people will forget about you. Because you're unforgettable. Trusting this process doesn't look like forcing yourself to share something because you feel like you're supposed to be sharing because that's what it means to work. And if you're not working, then you're not earning your existence. Share your creative work when you have something to share in a way that feels good for you to share it, and then trust that everything else is taking its time. Everything else is falling into place. Sometimes your authentic creative energy is just going to be shared in a conversation with a loved one, or in a burst of creativity that generates something just for the sake of itself and not for sharing. And sometimes something that you create on a whim that your egoic mind tells you isn't really worth sharing is actually exactly the thing that spirit wants to share through you if you trust that knowing. What you create will always tell you how it does or doesn't want to be shared if you listen and if you trust. And if you want a cheat code, if you want to go a little further, if you're ready for a little bit of acceleration, and side note, you can know that you are likely already doing this, and this message is just serving to give language to what's already shifting for you right now. But the cheat code is to use everything you say and do every day. Every word that you write, every thought that you think, every gesture that you make, every piece of creation that you touch as a moment to land in this place of authenticity and trust in a way that feels most aligned and most pleasurable for you. Do that consciously for a while and notice what starts to happen. You know what it feels like when something is moving through you that you're really excited about, and you just get super present in that moment of deep receptivity. If you can trust that these moments of deep opening happen exactly when they're meant to happen, and that precisely what it is that wants to be shared through you is going to be made very clear, you can trust that guidance and then share as it feels pleasurable and aligned for you to do. And if you're doing this consistently, if you're devoted to this, it means that you are just as devoted on the days when nothing is coming through, when nothing wants to be shared, and you're trusting that too, and allowing yourself to just be. That is just as much a practice of devotion to yourself as a creator as the moments when something is coming through, or the moments when you're taking something that has come through and shaping it and sharing it. All of it is a necessary part of your devotion. If you can trust that, you won't force yourself to put things out there that you don't actually feel are coming from this authentic and aligned place. Do this from a place of compassion and authenticity and trust, and be devoted to that process, and recognize that devotion will look different every day. And that's the fun and the beauty of it. And these different aspects of who you are can be expressed differently depending on what energy is moving through you on that particular day, or what part of the cycle you're in on that particular day. And what's also coming through me to share with you is that it's okay if you don't know right now all of the ways that this devotion to creation might shift and change its form for you. The form and the structures and the containers in which you share what you create from this place. You don't know all the ways that you will do that in this lifetime as a creator. You might not have a singular dream of creating in one specific way, because there may not be one specific way that you're here to do that. That may be true for some creators, and it may not be true for others, but your devotion is to the path, not to the form or to the outcome. The path is your purpose. This surrender to your sincerity, this trust in what you receive and know in your body and how you know that you're meant to share that. Some of the most important ways that you do this are going to be in ways that have nothing to do with what you share publicly or what generates income for you. And there's no need to try to forecast into the future and figure out whether or not a certain thing will happen for you creatively. or what you will or won't do if it does or doesn't happen. Sometimes you will get signs that point to that, but sometimes this is going to happen in ways that really surprise you. Either way, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to know everything about what you're here to create if the vision is not super clear for you right now. You don't have to hold on to previous visions either, just to have something to hold. And that might feel scary, to not be holding a specific future creative vision, but rather to just be present in this moment. It might feel scary to say to yourself that you don't have an identifiable passion or goal or dream or desire when it comes to your creative work at this time. And if that's true for you, it's because there's something that is still taking shape within you. It's taking its time. And it's supporting your ability to remember that all things are possible and that our collective co-created awakening is already in motion and you're already an integral part of it. You can trust your presence and alignment along the way, even if you feel in any given moment like you have nothing to say or you don't know where your creativity is taking you. Because here's the thing. What you create and the way that you create, it's a lot. You are a creator who opens and attunes to creative energy that moves through you in a way that can be a lot for your physical vessel. It means that your physical vessel requires downtime. It requires dormancy, that necessary restoration and recharging. You will need this if you're going to continue to be devoted to this process of attuning to and trusting and sharing what you receive in all of the ways that are aligned and pleasurable for you, in all of your interactions and everything that you create moment to moment. To really live in that way, to really be attuned and receptive in that way, and to move energy through you in that way, it requires a lot. Your vessel requires a specific kind of care and softness and support. And a part of why things are taking the time that they're taking right now is because you are living your way into a reality in which you have what you need to live a life of this devotion, to caring for and stewarding the cycle of receptivity and creativity that lives through you and that you're here to share in alignment with our collective greatest, highest good. And so you can be devoted to that process for the long haul because we collectively need you devoted to that process for the long haul. Trust the time that it takes. And trust that your audience is there and preparing to receive you in perfect, aligned time. I love you, and we'll talk soon.